Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to be providing a long-term market analysis update for QNT. We're going to talk about the QNT BTC ratio and how QNT is actually coming up and just consolidating in this range very close to the all-time highs, right around 965,000 Satoshis. We'll talk about why this is such a bullish pattern, where the invalidation is, as well as QNT on the USD pair coming up to a key level of resistance right around $153. So if you guys enjoy the content, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Also, by the way, I will leave a link to my Twitter page in the description below. Feel free to go ahead and check that out as well. I am fairly active over there with crypto content. So the $153 region is going to be a very key level of resistance, mainly because we saw this flip into support on the big leg up in August of 2021 during that bull run. We saw that act as support for a few weeks before continuing higher. We had a retest right here in December of 2021, still holding it as support, and then eventually getting that breakdown right here in January, flipping it right into resistance. Now, we did have a fake out and a deviation above this level back here in October, but we're really starting to get that second retest. And on this retest, I think we could actually see a confirmed breakout where instead this time we actually do flip it into support on, say, a move on the weekly chart where we come back, consolidate, and then we start to push higher, really not just coming back accepting below like we saw right here in October. And this is the more bullish scenario because it would show us that QNT is finally ready to progress back to the upside. It really hasn't made a higher high since October. Meanwhile, a lot of other altcoins are making multi-month highs, breaking out and forming higher highs. So we're seeing a little bit of that relative weakness in the short term, mainly because of how strong this move from back in the Q4 of 2022 was. And I do think that eventually we will resume that trend to the upside with a higher high, but until we can break out above the $153 level of resistance and have a confirmation or some sort of sustainable move, I think we're still just sort of consolidating, gearing up for that next leg up. Now, if we were to say reject off of this and come back down to form a lower low, basically retesting these lows from right here in November as well as December and breaking below that, that's when I would really start to have a different outlook on QNT. And that's when I would no longer be looking for this bullish scenario, this bullish continuation to the upside. Because at that point, if QNT were to break that, which again is not my primary view, I don't think this is the most likely scenario, but I did want to throw it out there because this is more or less the risk. If QNT were to come back below this, then that would print some very ugly looking head and shoulders topping pattern, and we would have a lower low. The momentum would start to come back down and it would look like QNT is just rolling over on the weekly. Again, not my primary outlook. I don't think this is going to happen. I just wanted to throw it out there because this is the risk. This is where that is invalidated, and this is mainly where I would say, okay, we're probably going to have a retest of some of these lower valuations that we saw in the summer of 2022. But again, it still looks very bullish, still looks very positive. We're holding up a lot stronger than a lot of other altcoins with that most recent rally, and we're retesting a key level again at around $153. So QNT on the BTC ratio really does illustrate this longer term outperformance that we've been seeing. It's basically coming up and consolidating just under the all-time highs on the Bitcoin valuation. And this is very bullish if QNT can have that second leg up confirming a breakout, because this would look like a big cup and handle pattern. We would have the two retests of the all-time high, some bullish consolidation, a base forming, and then a continuation higher. And when I zoom out here on the weekly chart, you can basically see for the majority, as far back as this chart goes, QNT has been outperforming Bitcoin. So I would just look to a continuation of that uptrend on the BTC ratio, where we see QNT just have better performance than Bitcoin, which is essentially what I want to see within altcoins because they do tend to take on higher risks. So having that risk work in your favor to the upside is definitely ideal. But if we were to say have, that breakout into the next few months where we do eventually come back, reclaim this level, the all-time high from back here in August of 2021, right around 780,000 Satoshis, and then flip that into support at this stage, I would really look for a further continuation to the upside, a breakout, a new all-time high, and then just seeing that relative performance really come back to QNT on this USD pair. And that's basically my primary view because I do see this as bullish consolidation. I think this is going to look back upon as accumulation. And that again falls through. We want to talk about the invalidation point. That falls through if we are no longer holding these range lows at 598,000 Satoshis. So if the weekly chart starts to develop like this, where we're coming back below that, flipping that into resistance, then we would have a lower low. We would be breaking below this low from November. and we would lose the support. And we would have a very different trend. We're no longer going to be holding that momentum to the upside. So at this stage, if we were to get some sort of rejection and flipping that into resistance, then I would start to look back to some of these lower valuations to retest before continuing higher. And that's just basically the risk. Again, I did want to talk about this because obviously there's no guarantees this has to break out, and we just want to be aware of that, given that altcoins can be very volatile and they can have those pretty surprising moves to the downside. So I hope you guys did enjoy the content and the analysis. By the way, make sure to check out my Twitter page. I will leave a link to that in the description below. As always, I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one.